Good afternoon, everybody. This is Anjali, and I'm your moderator for today. Also heading the Sales and Marketing Division for Immigration Suite presented by My Legal Software. My Legal Software is a legal case management software that is created by the lawyers for the lawyers. Today is Wednesday, July 27th, and we are here with our first weekly webinar. And we're going to talk about how to start, grow, and manage your immigration practice. So if you're a new lawyer, an experienced lawyer, or an immigration lawyer who's planning to add to their skills, or an already practicing lawyer who's looking for expanding their areas of practicing, or if you're a paralegal or you're heading HR team for a law firm, then stay with us till the end. There are some tips and tricks that will help you save some valuable time and money. It's my request to all the attendees that if you want to put any questions for us, you can put them in the Q&A section in the screen below. We'll answer all your question and answers at the end. Today, as a guest speaker, we have with us a legal influencer, a personal legal advisor for the President of Suriname, Mr. Naresh Gehi. Mr. Gehi is a cited expert by CNN, ABC World News, Fox News, and is featured in Forbes magazine. He is a regular speaker on WPIX 11 for the latest immigration news. He has also represented many high-profile celebrities and politicians. Mr. Gehi is a permanent attorney with decades of experience and has worked for many difficult cases and clients. He's a speaker for federal practice and New York State practice. To distribute his learnings about immigration, he wrote a book on immigration for everyone. He's a recipient of several New York awards and has worked for former committee of President William Quint. Now I'd like to give a couple of minutes to Mr. Gehi to tell us something about himself. Although we know already so much, sir. But let's start with where do you practice and how did you get into immigration law?
Yes, firstly, it's such a pleasure being with you, Anjali, and my special thanks to your team at My Legal Software for having me on board with such a great enterprise and a company that thought so much about putting a software together. And I'm an immigration lawyer and I'm based in New York City, and I've been doing immigration for many, many years. And I really enjoy doing immigration. And plus, besides doing immigration, I also practice bankruptcy law. Then we also practice labor law, federal labor law. Then in New York, we also do matrimonial law, and we do commercial litigation. And we also do, some other areas of the law, such as personal injury, bankruptcy, divorce, criminal, whatnot. So this happened because I used to work for a former administrative law judge. He taught me many different areas of practice, but mainly I do immigration. But we have a big team of 85 people working for us. And over the years, what I've realized that it's very important for people to know the nuts and bolts of the practice very well. And that can only happen when you have the right team working with you. You read the right books. At the same time, you're very efficient in what you do. And you have to make sure that you comply with deadlines and give the best service to your client. That's something that I would begin with in a nutshell. I know you have a lot of questions for me, and I'm ready to take all your questions now.
So that's great. And see, that's the interesting part of the conversation. Also, the kind of experience that you bring to the table is amazing. So let's start with a basic question. That what are the ethics for immigration lawyers?
Okay, so before going to ethics, one has to understand the basics of immigration law. And we are going to have regular talks with new lawyers, with some wonderful seasoned lawyers who may join us, because I'm ready to learn. And at the same time, I'm also ready to share my knowledge with you folks, because my knowledge even today might be just a drop in the ocean. So it's going to be a very interactive session with me, with lawyers, of how we can for senior lawyers especially, how we can come up with groundbreaking decisions in the world of immigration law. And as these sessions go on, I'll be slowly advancing my knowledge. So first, today, your topic is exactly like, what are the main requirements of an immigration practice? Am I correct on that for you? All right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
yes,
the
correct.
First requirement is, let's, start with the ABCs, because this is your first session. So ABCs of immigration as follows. The key requirement of immigration, which I tell people, especially if you are a lawyer who's already having a practice, or if you're new to immigration, or if you're working for another law firm which does not do immigration. Why is immigration so good? First thing is that I can assure you that if you have the right mentorship, immigration is not that difficult to practice. And above all, the good thing is that if you're living anywhere in America these days, you'll always find an immigrant coming to you. I'm telling you, hey, I have an immigration question. And half the time, a lawyer shies away from that. He says, listen, I'm a personal injury lawyer and I don't know where to go. So the first thing what you do is you need to make sure that you have the right mentor. Number one, someone who's ready to work with you when you hit a roadblock. Secondly, you need to have the right books with you. And it's not that difficult, believe it or not. I mean, we'll be talking about other areas of the law. And if you understand the basics, you're going to do very well. So the first book which you need to have in immigration law is the INA. INA is the Immigration and Nationality Act. If you cannot buy the book, go to uscis.gov. uscis.gov. That's the government website. And you are going to find the INA. That's the Immigration and Nationality Act. The next thing that you need to do is look at the corresponding regulation. And I know for sure that a lot of the people who are going to be here today, some of them will be a little nervous. What does the statute have to read? What is the regulation? Folks, you're not alone. I was the same in the beginning. And how am I going to understand the law? So take an example about a lawyer. If you know that lawyer who appeared in court and the judge was mad with him because he didn't know the law. You know what the secret is? The secret is because the judge is asking you to know the law, which means if I'm a personal injury lawyer, I need to know what is PhD. So don't tell me about your PhD that you graduated from. You have to know negligence. So that means proximate cause, harm to plaintiff and duty of care and a breach. You're done. You impressed upon the judge in a personal injury case. Remember that IRAC that you studied in your law school? The same thing you need to know once if you get the INA in order. So you have to know the definition of the word alien. Nothing to worry about. Start opening the book and start reading it. And initially you're going to be kind of like, oh my God, it's hard. It's not. First thing is decide if you want to add $200,000 more to your wallet. And I'm sure you'll make it in the first year itself, if you work hard, of course. How do you do that? So you got your INA here. You got your Code of Federal Regulations next to you. Then after that, you can subscribe to Westlaw or Lexis. I'm still a big fan of, Westlaw or Lexis. But they are like, seasoned players in the market. I would do that. Then the most important thing that you need in your practice is to make sure that you have basic books with you. The INA may be a little difficult for you. After that, you're looking at, the statute is the statute. I know it's very boring, folks. Even I know that. But I've become very good at statutes. I'm a federal lawyer, and I handle some very difficult cases. And as we progress, I'm going to talk to you guys about the type of cases I do in immigration. And of course, in other areas of the law too, including bankruptcies in New York. So now, the thing is that you got these two books. What is the next thing I do? You need to buy some basic books on immigration. All right? So everyone has a choice. And I tell people, subscribe to Westlaw or Lexis. And there's a very good treatise in that from Matthew Bender. Make sure that you read Matthew Bender from there. But that gives you a very good handle when you're stuck on a point of law. Now take a simple example. We're going to teach everybody of how to practice immigration law. And remember, folks, before I go any further, the instant advice which is given over here does not constitute any legal advice. And basically, it's general in nature and does not apply to any particular facts or circumstances. So take an example. You're this great new lawyer, or you're a personal injury lawyer, and you're getting these wonderful Spanish people coming to your doorstep and saying, ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, señor, immigration problema. Great. You say, no, don't turn that client down. first thing is that make sure that you get the basic tools of the trade, and it's not that expensive. You got the INA, you got this, get one or two books. And then after that, make sure that you have mentorship. And thanks to my legal software, that I'll be one of the mentors who'll be kind of working with them. And the software is fantastic because my law firm is using it. And folks, we have 17,000 clients on this software that we are using. Yes. And thanks to your entire team, Anjali, and the other people who have contributed, including Priyanjali, and a lot of them who contributed to the making of this software. We are very impressed because we don't only practice immigration, we practice other areas of the law. Thank you for that. So now I bought these two books and I got Matthew Bender. Now there's a client that walks into my door, Anjali. Now this client is telling me, hey, listen, I got married to this American citizen. Wow, you may say that, I've heard that before. The lawyer says, unfortunately, I don't know how I'm going to do this case. Don't worry, folks. You already have the basics of the law in front of you. You need a good software program. And the software program even shows you with the forms. And with companies like My Legal Software, they have helped that support. They offer you receptionists. They offer you trained paralegals who can even do your work. So you're starting your immigration case from day one by having a trained paralegal come in from this company, for example. Now the next thing is that paralegal can help you a lot, especially a trained paralegal. Now what happens? The paralegal already knows the form. She'll tell you, sir, can you look at this? And if not, we'll be happy to basically work with Anjali's team and support you in the beginning. But of course, at the end of the day, you should only do it only if you're comfortable. And if you're ready to put in the hard work and the dedication. Because if you expect anything from anyone to do everything for you, that's not a possibility. But you should have that kind of, dogged determination to start. Example, when I started immigration law, giving you my own story. I didn't need a lot of money when I started my practice. At the end of the day, I said, you know what? What I'm going to do is I need a simple office, a very simple office. Because it's like I got admitted to the bar and I worked as a paralegal for a long time. Guess what? I said, I'm going to take the courage and I'm going to start my practice. So here is what I did in those days. I bought a computer. Then immediately in those days, there were those basic form softwares. I said, you know what? I'm going to have a good software here. Why? I said, you know what? The software is helping me to finish up the form so fast. Why the hell am I going to sit and write? So the software company did not do a lot of hand holding for me. But I learned that. And guess what? I started basically, finishing up work within minutes. Things that used to take hours, finished up in minutes. And, so then that helped me to prepare the cases. Now, for example, a marriage base came into my door. So what I did is that, I made sure that I had someone who was readily available to answer questions for me. But those people used to charge me a lot of money. They used to say, okay, we'll teach you, but we're going to charge you by the hour. So in the beginning, I did those things and I started it, and here I am today, a mentor, and actually I've, spoken at bar associations, about immigration law, and I've basically at the American Immigration Laws Association. Guess what? When I have that mentor, when I have the right books in front of me, I have the right software, I did phenomenally well in my first year. The biggest thing which I've seen, I've trained so many lawyers over the years, so many paralegals. The problem is that a lot of these wonderful folks are just scared to venture into something new. And I'm not trying to brag here, but people should look around before they make the decision. What I liked about this company is that they said, hey, Mr. Gehi, why don't you come on board for our clients and basically talk? And they have some other people also with them. I said, that's a phenomenal idea. I'd be happy to come on board. So in a sense, you're starting your practice if you're new, number one. And secondly, even if you're a seasoned lawyer, it may work in your favor. Or if you want, eventually, if you want to add another area to your practice, I'll be happy to help folks because I love to teach, I love to talk. But that's what we do as lawyers. Now, we got these books in order. Now, when your client comes into the door, very important, don't be nervous. There are some basic questions which you'll be asking him. What's your name? How did you enter into this country? Do you have a deportation order? Don't be scared. I'll make sure that I'll be happy to teach you once if, you guys think about going ahead, we'll be happy to teach you folks. Now, what happened? After some time, you're going to realize, oh my God, why didn't I start yesterday? And your friend across the block is having so many clients do this. So this is one way to make your money in immigration law. The other areas, we call them as bread and butter areas, are areas like bankruptcy. Fantastic. You can still use the software and practice bankruptcy, personal injury. So it's something what I liked about my legal software is that I can add it on, I can add more components, and there are some amazing features in the software that I think we'll be talking about later. So now your client comes into the door, and at the same time you did the intake. But remember, there are some critical issues in immigration, and make sure that you follow the basics. And if your file is perfect, the day your first client gets your green card, I can assure you that'll be your happiest moment. And besides that, that client can give 100 more clients, and that's how immigration goes. The next question, Anjali, I hope you're enjoying my conversations, and I hope exactly, if you have any more questions, of course, I'm open to it.
Yes, of course. I mean, it is so interesting to know the insights from a person with so much of experience. Anyway, so let's move on for the next question for the webinar. So this is one of the most frequently asked questions by the attorneys all around. So what are the tools of the trades for the immigration lawyers or the firms who are looking for, either increase their practice, or if they're looking for something new, or if somebody is new into the business? So what are the tools of the trades for them?
Okay, so the first thing which I said is that, there are different levels for tools of the trade. The first level we already spoke about. So immigration is something wherein there are different levels of immigration. Sometimes you see lawyers who only do employment-based immigration. And I'm a lawyer who's done every second practice in immigration. I would say right from employment-based immigration, right from deportations, right from federal litigation. I've done mandamus actions, I've done petitions for review, we've done federal district court matters, and we've done appeals before the BIA. So there are different levels in immigration. So for the basic practitioner, we already spoke, and that's something I'd love to help new lawyers. I want lawyers to grow, and people who want to start their immigration practice, I love to see lawyers who help immigrants more than anything. So that's the first level. Now you have the seasoned lawyer sitting in his office who's done employment-based immigration, but he has that dogged determination to learn. He says, I definitely want to deep dive, and I want to learn about asylums. Great. Recently, I just met a lawyer, and was actually in one of the immigration hearings, and she was telling me that I got a call actually from another lawyer. She said, I'm getting my first asylum case. Should I give it up, Mr. Gehi, or should I take it? You know what was my answer to her? Please take it up. I'd love to help you. She said, what? It's my first case. I said, remember, even I had my first case. I did not make a fool of myself, but the judge started smiling, and he told me one thing, and we can never, never forget that wonderful judge. And his name was, I think I forgot his name, but the wonderful judge actually did pass away. New York judge. I owe him an enormous debt of gratitude. Oh yes, Philip Moraes. And I appeared before Judge Moraes, and he said that one thing I admire about you is that you have that strength in you, and you're ready to come before me and fight the case. So I read as I said, I went before the judge. I said, I'm going to take this case on. So the first question came up, what do you want from the court? And I said, Judge, I want my client to get a green card. So he said, okay, Mr. Gehi, he smiled. Make sure that, your client is married. So you need to go and, read about it a bit and, look into adjustment of status. So I was very excited, and he said, this is where you'll find the law. I went into it. I said, you know what? I'm going to look at 245 right now. Looked into it. I said, I got it. Finished up the paper, went to my mentor. Now, this is important. Why? Because when you are going to go to immigration court, I'm sure some seasoned lawyers who are here, they would be happy to say that when you're going to go to immigration court, please do not make a fool of yourself. And there were some wonderful judges I learned from, and a lot of judges, by God's grace, have had a lot of admiration for me. And I remember Judge Gassi talking about me, and that made me really happy recently. Great Judge Gassi, I've appeared before. She was, conveying regards. you know, it's such a great feeling when judges inquire about you. I want the judges to talk about you folks. And the thing is that what I did, I took that case, I went back, I seen whether my client is adjustable or no. So in that one case, I remember he was adjustable, but in the second one, he was not. Was I scared? No. I said, you know what? He entered without the visa. He's not grandfathered, but there's a second bite of the apple which most lawyers would not know, new lawyers. They would say, Judge, what should I do? I said, my client is eligible for cancellation of removal. Judge was impressed. So the bottom line is that those things happen when you are guided properly. And no one is perfect, neither is Mr. Gehi. But when someone holds your hand, it makes a great big difference. Big difference. These softwares are cheap, like they don't cost a lot of money. But end of the day, the hand holding can be good for a seasoned lawyer as well as for the new lawyer, for any lawyer. So then what happened? We fought those cases, we are done. Now comes the third level of immigration. As you're talking to me about the tools of the trade, I tell people, always buy some good books like Kurzban. Ira Kurzban's book is amazing, and I use it all the time. But besides that, what I do is a deep dive for seasoned lawyers. This is for seasoned lawyers. I deep dive into the statute to see what the statute says. And if you have any seasoned lawyers here, I want to talk to you about one case that we succeeded recently, and a lot of wonderful lawyers are going to be happy. As you all know that immigration has not been granting those fraudulent entry cases. I fought the matter under the matter of argument, and the government was not budging. I was actually in the Southern District of New York. Finally, the government did budge, and they said we recognize the fraudulent entry under the matter of argument, and we were basically successful. And my client did get a green card. So prior results don't guarantee future outcome. As you all know, those cases are notoriously difficult. And I said, I'm not throwing the hat, and the matter went before the federal judge, and the government is saying, no. I said, listen, either basically you cannot use this. Now, this is for seasoned lawyers. So my biggest argument in that case was, in the fraudulent entry case, this is a case wherein someone enters on someone else's passport in the country. And the person entered on someone else's passport. They didn't have a copy of the passport. Of course, we applied. Immigration denied. Filed the MTR. It was denied. Then after that, I took it to federal district court. And then the best argument I made, and you all can look up the case in the matter of Prasad, P-E-R-S-A-U-D. You're going to love it. And I said that exactly. How can the government use this fraudulent entry as a double-edged sword? A double-edged sword means, suppose when I'm going to immigration and I'm saying over here, hey, listen, I committed this fraud. Immediately the officer is giving me an application to file for the fraud waiver. I said, when my client is saying that I entered on someone else's passport, you don't want to give benefit because it's not benefiting the government. So I used the double-edged sword theory, and finally the government settled and they agreed that exactly, yes, your client was able to provide this evidence. So folks, be a litigator, learn to fight immigration. That's my answer. Reading the right books, having the right mentors, and making sure that you do your best. Of course, you're not going to win every case, but at least you can put up a great fight. That's what we talk about with you. And as I said, this is going to be tremendously helpful for people who want to learn immigration. And of course, listen folks, I'm not a guru. I'm nothing more than you guys. I'm a very humble man, and I'm also ready to learn from you. So I don't have a chip on my shoulder. And if you have something, please share it with me. I'll tell you I'm the first person who wants to be a student. One of my favorite saying is that I'll always be a student, I'll never be a teacher. Your next question, ma'am. Do you have any questions for me, or should we take some questions, or we can go to the one you want?
There are so many questions. We already have so many questions from our attendees also, but we'll take them at the end. So on the same lines, like how you said, like of course the small wins really count big, especially when you're starting new. So on the same lines, so what is the importance of goal setting and having a vision for a law firm? Like we spoke about lawyers, let's talk about what is the importance of having a goal setting or a vision for a law firm.
The goal setting should be very clear. You need to have a 5-year plan, and where your firm should be in the next 5 years. And that's a lot of lawyers don't have that really. And because in law you have to invest some money, otherwise you'll never be successful. And for example, I've seen Lawyers hiring the cheapest paralegal on the block. Don't do that. Besides that, making sure that you don't have the right books on your table. You're not practicing law properly. Invest, but charge your client properly. Don't be the cheapest lawyer on the block. Now, for example, right? You see some of these lawyers, most of them are wonderful. I met a person recently, and he was an immigration lawyer, and he told me, I've been doing asylums for a long time. So the bottom line is that I was very happy. I said, you're doing great. I said, how do you feel about the matter of Mogurabi? He didn't know what was Mogurabi. I said, have you read the matter of Chen? He said, no, I just finished up the papers, and I demonstrate that my client was beaten up in his home country and everything. What I realized that this person is very good with the facts, but he was not good with the law. A good lawyer knows the law more than the facts. Law and facts, of course, matter a lot. But what we are going to do here, we are going to teach you how to look at the law, how to look at Section 208 of the INA, how to look at a case for political asylum, how to look at Section 209 of the INA. And after that, basically, we'll make sure that we all work together, especially if you're a junior lawyer or if you're new to the profession, that you make it well in the profession. And these are some of the things which I would tell people, that look into the laws properly, argue cases properly, have the right tools of the trade, and when you have your vision for your law firm, first thing is know the law and work very hard on your case and learn to analyze a case to see whether this is a doable case or not. I'll tell you one common mistake which is made by a lot of lawyers. They don't know whether a person is adjustable or not. Adjustable under 245. They'll just file the I-130 for the case. My dear friend, you didn't have to wait for the 485 in this case. My dear friend, you should have not filed the 485 in this case. Tricky questions, tough questions. We'll talk to people about it. We'll make sure that people learn properly and try their best to practice law. Of course, it's not legal advice, but at the end of the day, we can have these sessions wherein people can learn a lot from us. Once if you have the right strategy, as I said, we get clients. So now you got your clients. Again, invest in your law firm. So what I would do, investing means, look at our office. We have, even our paralegals have beautiful offices here. We make sure that you're creating an impression. And another thing, dress to impress. Dress to impress, that helps a lot. That will take you a long way. And when you are in court, that's your 5-year plan. That I am going to make sure that I'm fully prepared for every question before the judge. Of course, there's nothing like being 100%. But even if you know 90% of your case, I can assure you do well. And also I'll be showing you real life, I'll talk to you about real life cases that I've handled, wherein exactly we had a very low chance of winning those cases. And yes, by God's grace, we did win those cases. That was all a part of having the right mentor, making sure that I submit a powerful legal brief, making sure I do the right research in the case, making sure that I know what immigration law is, I know what is the definition of aggravated felony, I know what EWI means, not DWI, EWI, immigration without inspection, and I know exactly what is the crime involving moral turpitude. I know basically that this is a case that can get me into trouble, which means a marriage fraud case. I can lose my license because I basically, crossed the line of law. Whether should I take up this case? And there's one other topic we're going to talk to for lawyers is how to try your best to avoid a lozada. A lozada means ineffective assistance of counsel, and that should be a part of your 5-year plan. That I'm going to make sure that I document myself. And what I like about my legal software is the program which you're using is that you can print the entire case history. And if your client is asking you for this, that you didn't do anything, that's a common answer I got. A while ago I used your software, and through that I was able to give them the time I worked on the case, the notes which I had on the case, and everything that you could imagine. And secondly, when my paralegal leaves or someone leaves, I just reassign my cases. I don't have to worry about, in the past, the software that I was using, reassignment was a problem. So I decided, why don't I have my own software here? I built it to make sure that I try my best to cross the I's and the T's every kind of report you're talking about. And when we mail out documents, thank you to my legal software, that, when I'm mailing out documents, for example, I know when I mailed out because there's a mail in feature there. When the mail comes in, I have the mail in feature. When the mail goes out, I have the mail out feature. That's why I keep track. And above all, there's one other thing. I make more money using this software. I'll tell you how. One is like, I like your credit card terminal. The fees are going to the client in my state in New York. So I don't have to worry about, when I'm charging credit cards, the fee is going to the client. So I save money right there. So I don't have to worry about getting outside companies who are billing me 3 or 4,000 a month. I save that 3 or 4,000 because the client is happy to accept that 3% charge. Why should I take it over? That's what I like. And another thing which I like is that there is a feature in the software when the mail comes in that when my client gets a conditional green card, I can even basically kind of set the next alert. So what happens is when a permanent green card is coming up, I get that business in. So the good thing is that I'm making money using this software, and the thank you notes and everything are very impressive. So that's how exactly I do my practice, and we have to 85 people. And without the software, I don't think it would have been possible for me. And by the way, as I said, I'm not the only person in it. I'm one of the members. But the team has really worked hard. I need to commend you guys for this.
Thank you so much for the kind words, sir. So we've spoken a lot about the lawyers who have, like who are seasoned lawyers who are already practicing law. But what do those lawyers do, like who cannot find the jobs or who find it difficult to work under someone? Like
Yeah,
what
so
should
I think I've met two types of lawyers. Some of them are brilliant, and they've not practiced immigration law. And for take an example about, I met a friend of mine a while ago. He said, Naresh, I'm sick and tired working for this big law firm, and it was a mid-sized law firm. Absolutely brilliant guy. So he said, I'm scared to start my immigration practice. I said, listen, one thing which I can do is I can help you to start your practice. And he had the same question that, will you hold my hand? I said, yes, on one condition. The condition is that at least you should be ready to know the basics. If you know the basics, and I'll help you where to read the law, what to do. And I'm on the part of your panel of immigration speed. He said he'd be happy to join. I said, no problem. I'll be happy to spend that time with you and make sure that you grow. But be ready for hard work, folks. If you're expecting my legal software to do everything, that ain't happening, folks. We'll help you, but at the end of the day, there's a saying in English that fortune favors the brave. When the great get going, the going gets great. And the Lord is the strength of the strong, and nothing succeeds like success. You can pick any one of them. And if that's your mantra, then I'm in the game with you. If you're just basically looking at straight spoon feeding, I cannot do that because I don't want to lie to you, and I'm not here to give any false hopes. Neither this company which I'm associated with, I don't want them to give any false hopes ever.
Of course, sir. I mean, they don't lead anywhere. And so talking about like immigration practice, so for specifically for US, can immigration lawyer practice their law in like any part of the US, or do they
Yes,
need a
so this is for new lawyers who want to join, immigration. There's some wonderful things about immigration. You can practice immigration law from any state because you're appearing before an administrative authority. Of course, there are some very few caveats that you cannot. First, you can be a member of any bar, and you can appear before USCIS in 99% of the cases on a regular basis. You can appear before the EUIR, which is the Executive Office for Immigration Review. You can appear before the BIA, provided you're licensed to practice law within the United States. And also, I've been helping a lot of not-for-profits, at the side to help them to understand the law. I love working with not-for-profits too, because their laws are really good. And, so you can practice immigration law from any states. And as you know, there are lawyers sitting in London who are admitted to practice law in America, and they practice immigration law. So it's a rainmaker. You can be anywhere, and you can do very well. But don't be scared to start immigration practice. That's the biggest mistake which you're making at this stage.
Thank you, sir. And so like when a person is practicing law, so there are so many things that goes on in and out if you're managing a firm and everything. So like how to juggle between managing your firm and developing your legal skills?
Now, let me tell you how tech savvy we are in our firm. And being tech savvy helps a lot. That's number one. So in our office, None of the phones ring in my office. And I know that might be surprising you. I'm sitting here, you might have not even heard a single call. All my calls are handled abroad. And I've used your resources from my legal software. The receptionists are fantastic. The English is amazing. And, and they take all the calls there. Only when necessary, they transfer the calls to me. I've used some of our paralegals, they are brilliant. I must say that exactly, they do the forms and all very well. But of course, there are minor mistakes which I don't mind correcting. So I'm going to be a straight shooter. I'm not going to basically, give anyone a rosy. But that helps me to, and plus I'm spending a fraction of the cost. Plus I'm getting good paralegals who are not leaving me. They're not leaving me. The problem over here in this country is that you hire someone today, after 4 months the person is leaving you. These people are loyal, they've been with me. But I still, even after they finish the work, I work with them very politely and nicely and I pat the back. You have done a good job, the forms are brilliant. But next time you do this, and these are lawyers and in foreign countries, and they're not like ordinary people, they know what they're doing. So that helps me to manage the forms. That helps me to finish up the basic petitions. I only get basic work done from them. And receptionists are brilliant. I have no issues with that. And the other thing that helps me to manage my practice, and that is one of the best things which I like about your company, is the visa bulletin staff. If I had to sit over here and be in touch with the National Visa Center, my whole day would be gone. And when I'm having my clerk do it, it's a criminal waste of money here. So that's where I love your resources. The NVC staff is amazing. I get it done. Now I save time over here. So now I have enough time to devote to my new client to build my business. Now I'm not sitting and I'm writing the forms. For example, the immigration specialist, she's already talking to the client. She's on Zoom with them. She's finishing it up. That's how tech savvy I am. I save time, I save money, but I'm also nice to these paralegals. They're doing a fabulous job. I don't expect them to be perfect because I don't live in a perfect world either. So folks, if you're looking at anyone who's 100%, don't even think about it, because if that person was 100%er, he would be sitting on your chair. So keep that in mind. And then finally, I love that is done. Now I meet new clients. Gives me time to go home on time. Half the time what used to happen when I didn't have these people, I'm paying overtime over here. And plus the work is not getting done. And that wonderful secretary used to tell me, Mr. Gehi, I'm doing it, but I'd rather prefer going home because I have a family too. So this foreign team that you have has been a blessing. And plus your software is so very much connected to this, that makes my life easy. And if I want to get in touch with them, you know what I do? I use your Zoom feature. In a minute, I'm in touch with them. I use your Google Meet feature. Hey, what did you do about this case? Okay, I'm sending you case number 14271. Can you call him up right now? The phones are also connected. So she's calling the client, getting everything done for me. This is how I save my time. And that's how I finish up the work. But one thing which I always do, even if they've done the forms, I make sure that I'm in touch with the client straight up. So when the client comes and I talk to him, I tell him, okay, sir, your forms are done. And are you having that evidence ready with you? Because I want to be a good lawyer. I want to preserve my name. I want to preserve my reputation. But when there is an interview, I make sure that the person who's working for me abroad also prepares them. So God forbid, now this is very important, ethically, if I get busy and if the client does not get a single prep, that doesn't look good on our record, folks. So that's where I use these package plans. Now that helps me to do that. And plus, in the evening, what I do, I go for networking seminars. I couldn't do that before. I didn't have this virtual paralegal great support from your company. I'm going to seminars, meeting people, developing my business. At the same time, I'm on social media trying to promote my business. That's how my day ends.
Also, sir, like you say, time is money and money is time.
That is definitely true. A stretch in time saves 9 too.
So since you are a federal lawyer, sir, and you practice federal immigration,
in
so
New York.
how difficult is it to be a federal lawyer?
As I said, if you have the right mentors, anything is possible. And of course, federal practice, you have to know a lot because I've appeared before wonderful judges like Brian Cogan, who's absolutely brilliant. Then I've appeared before, magistrate judges in New York, Magistrate Judge Ramos. I'm a big admirer of Judge Ramos. Then a great admirer of Diane Gujarati, federal judge, absolutely brilliant. But they expect something. They will judge you at a high level. they're going to judge you at a high level, folks. And we'll also be having seminars on that, how to handle your first federal case. You got to know the judge's rules first. You have to know the magistrate's rules. You have to know jurisdiction. If it's mandamus 28 USC, 1331. You have to know that from the back of your head. Then you have to know electronic filing. Then you have to know basically about the substantive law, and you have to know exactly how to file, when to file, where to file. You have to know about jurisdiction. You have to know about venue, and those are factors. And doing a mandamus, you can make a lot of money. And a lot of lawyers that I know, they're not taking mandamus actions because no one trained them to do a mandamus. Nobody trained them to appear before an immigration judge. So it's all about training and having the right software. There's another thing which I like about your software. For example, right, I have a master calendar hearing coming up. So in your software, I see that I know within a minute how many masters are coming up, how many individual hearings are coming up, and I can even print a report. Which lawyer is assigned to the case, what time the case was assigned, and secondly, whether he mailed out the brief or no. I get all my reports. So when I am before the judge, and if I have to submit my written pleading, I know whether my paralegal has done that or not. Very simple, because I pull a simple report. I look at the assignment feature here. Oh, this was assigned to 7 days ago. How the hell she didn't do it? And I set an alert for me over here. So within a minute, I know that this is a matter, this is an adjustment case, because this is where the time was gone in developing the software to make sure it's very easy for the immigration lawyer as well as for the general practice lawyer. When I'm doing my matrimonial cases, order to show cause, okay? Then I have my basically complaint, okay? And I have basically the summons and complaint in a matrimonial case. Did the person interpose an answer? No. Within 45 days, was the person's service done? Yes or no? So that's what I like, that I can use it not only for immigration, for even for general practice. Yes.
That's great. So we've been talking about technology and USCIS. So like you combining the both, what changes are you expecting from USCIS in terms of technology?
What I'm looking at is that everything is going to be electronic filing, and thanks to my legal software that you're keeping pace with it. As you all are seeing that a lot of hearings are happening on WebEx, and in future I feel all these adjustment of status hearings and citizenships may also become kind of basically, even clients may not have to go to immigration, and a lot of things like will just be mailed to you. That's the future of immigration, and therefore it's important. And I had a recent conversation actually. There was recently we had a member join our firm, and he didn't know how to use softwares. So your software was so easy that he learned it within 3 to 4 days. So in a sense, like, I want every lawyer to know technology to make sure that at least you're well versed, and if not, like I think your team should be happy to train lawyers. I believe, Anjali, you should make sure that at least you take the initiative to start training people on what is electronic filing and what is WebEx, and believe it or not, I think that's going to be a big asset to the profession. And if you're asking me, you need to appoint a special resource in the company who can just train lawyers who are kind of shy or who are scared of technology, who want to get themselves organized. I think you've spoken to me about that. I think that's a great plan that you have, for the future. Keep that going. Next question.
Our software, we have kept our software so easy, like because multiple times we came with the feedback that softwares are not like easy to use, and there are certain sort of features that people are looking for in software. So we have developed this software keeping all of those pain points in mind. Also, sir, for the training purposes, our team provides 100% guaranteed good, training in terms of software, in terms of features and everything. And people who sign up, we also provide free legal mentorship for like 3 hours, like 1 hour for every month for the first 3 months. So we are helping out lawyers, and we are also helping out team to know the software and getting used to it.
Yes, as I need to kind of, since I've signed a contract with you folks on this, and I will be available for 1 hour of total mentorship in a month. So
Yeah.
in a sense, like if anyone joins, I'll make sure that, of course, you cannot take 1 hour at a time of mine. You can take 10 or 15 minutes at a time. You can stretch it out during the entire month. But you'll have to book a time with me. And of course, I'm available because I want lawyers to do well. And the great news is that, talk to me about the case law. By God's grace, most of the case laws are on the back of my head. I shy away from reading books. because by mistake I have a photographic memory, so I try to kind of basically master the law. And even then, a wonderful friend of mine over here, who's my colleague, will tell me, Naresh, this is the new thing that came out. I try to learn it and I try to kind of, make sure that my memory chips, kind of basically get used to, remembering those wonderful case laws that you're going to teach me for the future. Always ready to learn, always ready to share knowledge.
So we're hoping for a lot more side ups and so that your calendar is booked for the legal mentorship from My Legal Software.
Yes, and as I said, folks, what I've seen is that there's a, I mean, when people are going to all these great institutions to learn, they're not getting that one-to-one kind of training. Like, hey, listen, I have this question, I'm stuck on this. What should I do? That 1 minute answer is not there. And thank you for coming up with that I'll be on that 1 minute answer. That, hey, yes, I think you look good to file. With that confidence, even if I'm a senior lawyer, it really gives me that kind of, that glimmer of hope that I'm doing the right thing. That kind of confidence that, yes, I'm on path. But one other thing, folks, if I don't know the answer, I'll be blunt enough to let you know I don't know. But I'll try my best to get back to you. But 90% of the time, I can assure you, I'll be able to help you. But for that 10%, we'll work together. That's what I can promise you.
That's great. So that's great. This is such a knowledgeable session, and I hope the attendees are keeping notes of whatever they, find useful. And I'm thanking everyone for their precious time. But before we end this session, sir, your firm is one of our biggest clients, and you've been handling close to 17,000 cases using My Legal Software. You're also one of the inventors of the softwares. So what was the driving force behind inventing this software? Like, why My Legal Software?
See, firstly, what happened is that your technology team came in touch with me, and they told me that, Mr. Gehi, what do you think that I'll never forget that the person told me what's really missing, and they gave me a Herculean task to take over because they found that I was a person who had a strong technical background because I've studied computer science, I've studied law, of course, and I've studied the media very well. So they said that this is, and I said, listen, you know what? Even by the time like I feel that I'm a seasoned lawyer, I want to make sure that lawyers as friends, we have a software that can help us. The money is very small in these offers, how much you're going to spend, and you can make that in your first client, or even the credit card fee is going to save you that money. But I wanted to make sure that I stand up before the judge and I give him my best argument. I try my best because no one is perfect, folks. In my entire career, only once a judge told me something. I was offended because I know I was right, but the judge was not correct. But 99%, I made sure that I'm good. And that's where software is coming. That's where good books come in. And I'm not going to be biased here. I read Kurzban, amazing author. I read Matthew Bender, great authors. And I'm a member of some different bar associations. Good to keep yourself current. But the biggest thing is, if you're new, or even if you're midway in your career, life is nothing without a mentor. And of course, the right practice management software. The uploaded files that you have are brilliant for me. And the case notes are very easy for me to understand. My associate leaves me in the minute I can tell you where he left off. That's what I like. But when I had my old software, I had to look into where is this particular widget, where did I find it, this report is missing, that is not there. I call them up, it's not there. These were the problems that the technical team worked with me. And because we took feedback, I think from more than 400 legal professionals, not all lawyers, they were paralegals, they were receptionists, 300 or 400 people gave their feedbacks totally in 10 to 12 years. So that's how it got developed. And of course, there were outside surveys done and everything, that's how this came into force. So of course, there can be no software in the world that can give you everything, but I made sure that I gave them as much feedback as I can. And I think that's the beauty of what I liked about this particular software.
It's so nice to share your experience with us. But now, since we have only a couple of minutes left for ending the session, so let's take the questions from the audience. So attendees want to know, the first question is for you. How did you go from a humble lawyer to the principal attorney of 4 international offices?
Okay, so number one is that this is what I did is that when I had my first office, right, it was in Forest Hills. And what I did is that I integrated technology, number one. And for example, technology does not only mean your legal software. Besides that, I bought some great computers, high-speed computers, and made sure that exactly the thing is that I had the best networkers working with me, made sure that my network was perfect. Through that networking, I realized that it was very easy for me to train my paralegals. Then one of my paralegals said, Mr. Gehi, why don't we do this? Since we have this fantastic network system, and since we have the chat feature integrated in our software, we can start another office. So through your chat feature, I was able to start another office, and we were constantly chatting. And now, in fact, I use Google Meet from your software to chat with them. That's how my second office started. If there were clients sitting in that office, even now, of course, there's a lawyer sitting there. If they want to talk to me, I get the call, I take it here, I talk to the client, my client is happy. So number one was technology. Second is having the right paralegal, very important. Third is the right location, very important. The right service, that was important for me. Of course, you can never have 100% satisfied clients because immigration is going to deny cases and they're going to write bad things about you. Get used to that. Then, because of it, especially when you're practicing deportation defense, and of course we do H1Bs too, we do everything. Then the next thing I said, you know what, let me do this. Since we are doing well, we started a third practice, successful. And we made sure that our paralegals, because your paralegals and your staff is your family. Remember that. That's your family. Treat them well. Do your best. But remember, you can satisfy some people sometime, all people all sometimes, but not all people all the time. You do your best. But if that person wants to leave, if that person is a wacko, then I have a simple advice for you. Do not argue with a fool. People may not find the difference. Let them go.
That's true. So
Then
next,
you have that. Then after that, we grew our office. We started an office in Bombay, and we interact with the software regularly. That's how I did it. Yes.
so next question is, what was your most memorable case?
How many of them? 2001 handling terrorism-related cases, appearing before the CIA. In some of these cases, our FBI, I would say more often. Or 2002, I would say, handled those cases. Then doing a trial and actually fighting a case in federal court for a family that was stuck in Pakistan for the longest time. And another thing is about a person who was handcuffed and taken to immigration detention, and he was an arriving alien in those days. And for seasoned lawyers, they'll understand that. And the government said, the judge said, there's no hope. I made sure that I fought the arriving alien definition under HCFR 1.1Q. And guess what? After 4 years, we succeeded before the Honorable Patricia Rohan, and we got a tourist that was a big decision given by the court. These are just a handful of decisions. But after that, getting a green card for a lady, wherein the husband went for the interview, and he wrote and said that I married this lady to get her a green card, which was not true. And she was barred under 204C of the Immigration and Nationality Act. We fought that case. The lady is a citizen today. Prior results don't guarantee future outcome. So learn to fight with fire, folks. That's how immigration works. Yes.
Okay, so one of our attendees wanted to know, the question is, I am a new attorney. Which is the easiest way for me to start my immigration practice? Do I have to work with another lawyer to start my immigration practice?
You don't have to work with another lawyer to start an immigration practice. You have the right guidance and the right mentor, then you can do it on your own, really. But make sure that exactly, like, of course, experience matters a lot. But if you have that gung-ho kind of, and if you're that scholar who's ready to kind of deep dive into it, there have been lawyers who started things on their own. That's why you are admitted to the bar. You're an attorney at law. But it's your personal decision whether you need to proceed further or not. Your gut should tell you that, more than me telling you that. Yes. And of course, Anjali, you're there to help them if they start their own practice for sure. Next.
We are always here for all our clients. Right. And also to mention here that, so questions like these always come up, something or the other. So that is why we provide 1 hour of free legal mentorship with our attorney panel, including you, every month for the first 3 months, so that they can help in growing their immigration practice.
Thank you. I think that's a great offer for people like want to start the practice, so we're looking for it. I think that's a great asset to have. But besides that, besides having this, make sure you also have the right books. So I'm completely kind of a straight shooter. So I'll tell you that this software is great. It's amazing, but at the same time, you'll also have to invest, in basically, getting some good substantiated law books and understanding immigration law. And if you join the company, then you'll also be allowed to come in for my regular seminars, and wherein you'll learn a lot for sure. And your questions will be answered during those sessions, because after some time there'll be kind of some other rules that may be implemented by Anjali as to who should join or not. As far as she does not boycott me, I'll be happy. But make sure that you don't boycott me, because I love to talk.
He will always be our esteemed guest speaker in the panel.
Thank you.
Taking the next question.
Yeah.
So this should go to you.
You sure it should go to me? I'm scared. I'm nervous.
So which are the easiest areas in immigration to practice? I have never tried a case in immigration court, although I'm an immigration lawyer. So how can I start my first immigration case in court?
That's a big question. I'll have to break it down into different things for you. Uh, let's basically say that if you're a new immigration lawyer, I would encourage you, if you want me to be your mentor, start with family law first, family immigration. It's much easier, much better, much calmer. Then after that, you can look into employment based, which I consider to be very easy. Then I would say political asylum. So if you really want to be that great lawyer, not someone who's a paper pusher. I don't train paper pusher. I want you to know the law. I want you to know the definition of credibility. I want you to know what constitutes a fear of persecution under 207, 208, 209 of the INA. I want you to know what social group. I want you to know what's future persecution. Then you get to that level. That's level 3. Level 4 is just go to immigration court and fight those cases and take it to the BI. Level 5 is take it all the way to federal court.
Okay.
So start with family law.
Yeah.
This is my personal recommendation. Then get into employment law. Make sure you have a mentor books. Because I'm telling you, by reading books, for example, you're finishing up basically a family-based immigration law application. You read the law, and your client had an entry problem. The whole case is going to get denied, and you may witness a lozada from the client. Lozada means ineffective assistance of counsel, and that can get you into trouble.
That's true. That's true. So the next question from the attendees is, do you provide on-site training for the software? Yes, of course, we provide on-site training for the softwares. So this also depends on the location that you're in. But we provide both on-site and off-site training for the software. You don't have to worry about the software trainings. Software is easy, and we also provide training. Yeah. So next question is, I'm a divorce lawyer and I want to add immigration to my existing practice. How can I help people who are in middle of their divorce and are looking
Very
for
good question. Because actually another divorce lawyer asked me that. I think immigration complements a lot of divorce lawyers, because sometimes you see that these green card holders have 2-year green cards, and sometimes they don't have a green card. The green card is pending. One big mistake that divorce lawyers do is they tell them to forego the green card. Don't do that. And I think if you have if you have a mentor helping you in these cases, you can add immigration to your practice, and you can do very well. And the new trend nowadays I've seen is divorce lawyers are actually kind of, and also thank you, Anjali. Your software has that component, but and I also use it for divorces here. So in a sense, it complements you to increase your kind of business, and with the right training and the right mentors to help you at the back, then I think you can incorporate divorce into your practice. And I think immigration, that you can do very well. You can help them with parent spouse cases. You can help them with overcoming section 219 issues relating to removal of conditional residence. You should be able to help them with section 316 of the INA that relates to citizenships. There's a lot you can do as a divorce lawyer. Yes.
So next question from the attendee. I face many issues due to no proper documentation for a case. Can you help me with that? So our software basically would help you with proper documentation for mails, outgoing, incoming, and it keeps you organized in a way
That's true.
that you do not skip any court hearings, you do not skip any for next step of the case. Actually, we keep you a step ahead in a case so that you're prepared for all the next steps coming ahead. So yes, you will never face an issue with proper documentation, mails, or organization for any matter.
I must say that your software is good, and and also software is a part of progression, and I think I would give you high points on that. And I think like softwares are something that always I elevated to the next level. But based upon my experience, the other software that I've tried, and I think I would personally rate just to get great software for sure. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Aditya. These are the kind words. These inspire us to do good.
thank you. The next question is it for me or for you?
So next question is for you. I want to add immigration to my practice, and I do not have I have never done immigration before. What are the best books and softwares available in the market to start my practice?
I think I mentioned it before. The first thing is that you need to buy the INA and you need to buy 8 CFR. And after that, exactly, have a mentor as an immigration lawyer, and who just needs to just talk to you and make you just answer your question and tell you where to. For example, right now, one of your current members did call me, and I just answered a question for him. He was very happy and he was able to do things on his own. You just need someone to do some hand holding for you. I would strongly recommend you so that if you're very conservative as a lawyer, you'll be able to avoid a losada or basically or any trouble of refunding your fees to the client or a malpractice issue because folks, you are wonderful, but clients are clients. You may do a fabulous job. I love all the lawyers. I don't hate any lawyer. Let me tell you that. Those lawyers do a fabulous job. Lawyers do a fabulous job, and I know the sacrifices you all make. I'm very humble in my life, but remember that you just need that one back client. And one request to all my lawyers friends who are attending here: please do me one favor. I'm not here just because of my legal software. I'm here as a legal influencer. Don't file a complaint against another lawyer. Please try to avoid that. You're messing up the profession. I'm a senior attorney, and there are so many times when I see that this lawyer messed up badly, I tell him that next time, if you don't mind, make sure that you read these books. That's what good lawyers do. When you're a federal lawyer, you're trained to think in a different way. You're here to become a mentor. You're here to educate people who want to become seasoned. Remember what Thomas Alva Edison did. If you remember the story of Alva Edison, when he invented the electric bulb, he had that one person working for him, and the man was doing the bulb, and there were people in the room, and he was about to put the bulb up, and the bulb broke because he just slipped. It slipped from his hand, and everyone in the room was upset, except Thomas Alva Edison, and everyone in the room said, "Never give this guy this bulb next time." You know what Thomas did? Next time, when he had the formula, he just had to put the bulb together. He gave the same guy the bulb and told him, "You're going to go up and you're going to light it for me." And the man did it. So people asked him, "Why did you do it?" Because he said, "I was not here to dishearten this kid. I wanted his confidence to be increased." Folks, you all are leaders. And I know that you have two hearts. Even I do have a good heart and the bad heart. Start thinking about the good heart. Because when we are going to these churches, these mosques, these special sessions, we're learning the good. But once we come out, we forget the good and we act on the bad. Calm down. I know it's hard. But folks, don't file complaints against other laws. And I'm not a big fan of it. Thank you. Next.
So next question from the attendee is, how long does an average immigration case take?
Depends on the case. If you're doing asylums, it can take years. If you're doing a marriage-based case, it can take 8 to 9 months. If you're doing an H-1B, premium processing can be 2 to 3 months. So it all depends on the case. Right.
So if I'm a non-profit, and do you do something special for us?
With not-for-profits, actually, I've been doing a lot of consults with some not-for-profits who want to start their immigration practices. And, I tell them that, of course, I can serve as a mentor to you guys so that you can do well. That's what I definitely do. And if they come to you, I'd be happy to kind of counsel them up, basically, because they're doing a very good job helping a lot of people. And I can definitely help them out, especially when they're helping people like who want to become citizens or if they want to fight their deportations for sure. Yeah. How could I forget my amazing mentor, especially to the person whom I owe an enormous debt of gratitude, whom I consider a legend in the world of immigration. That's Mark von Sternberg from Catholic Charities. He's the man who made Naresh Gehi what he is today. Another wonderful judge I need to recognize, Judge Patricia Rohan, who made me the person I am today. And of course, Philip Moraes, judges I need to recognize, and Judge Gassi, who's currently actually in Pennsylvania. These are my heroes, and these are the people. And of course, Judge Burr from the New York Court, the Chief Judge, who was kind of very fond of me because she said that you have this dogged determination to fight, and I want to see you fighting. And don't worry, we'll make sure that you get where you are. A big thank you to the great judges who made me what I am today. And thank you to the team of my legal software for actually helping me to kind of basically solve my day-to-day problems. Hey, this case note is missing. Okay, Mr. Gehi, we'll recommend the team to have another feature coming in. That helps a lot too.
So see, this is what we do. We help our clients to do what they are, they should.
No, but it takes time because I know software building is not a thing. It's
Yeah.
not something you do overnight, but you get it done. That's what I like about you guys.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sorry, I'm very blunt in my approach. I apologize, but yours is like the most kind of company that works with us, and I'm very happy about it. As I
Thank
said, have your experience with other companies, then try them out, and you'll feel the difference that they are good at what they do. Yes, Anjali, Priyanjali, Ravi, and Urvashi, just fabulous. Same thing with Karan and all these guys. They're just amazing. Rahul, you have a great team.
So we have a very big team. If you start naming people, we'll have to keep another
All
session.
right, so next time then the next session is going to be just about reading names of the list.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Next question.
So this is the last question from the attendees today. What is the EOIR manual in the immigration matters?
Okay, UIR is the Executive Office for Immigration Review, and that's if you're doing deportations, and if your client has been, like I'm telling new lawyers, if you have your first kind of matter before immigration court, don't give it up, don't refer to another lawyer. I'll be happy to help you, and you need to learn to fight those cases. And that's where the UR manual comes in. That's where the substantive law comes in, and that's where basically the reliefs under immigration law come in, and you may have reliefs under the Convention Against Torture, you may have reliefs under asylum, you may have reliefs under withholding of removal, and we're also going to talk when one should accept voluntary departure and when one should not accept voluntary departure in our future sessions, so lawyers learn a lot. So I think you have lined me up for the next session also, so I'll also be available for the next session which has been planned by them. And
Yes.
it's also, and another thing is, Anjali, as you know, more than exactly the commercial aspect, I also like to teach lawyers how to practice law. So just make sure that your sessions with me, wherein people can learn the law, number one. At the same time, they can grow the practice and make money. So I just wanted to be a good kind of match for everybody, because I love to kind of, lecture about the law for sure. And as you know, that I've written books on immigration. My book can be found on Amazon. It's Immigration for Everyone. And it's meant for people, for new lawyers, for the novice, anything you want to know about immigration law, the basic fundamentals, even if you're a law student, if you're a paralegal, if you're a seasoned lawyer, if you want a good handbook to just know the ABCDs of immigration, it's not in the money, it's super cheap, but it's a fantastic handbook for you to know about every area of immigration law.
Yes, sir. So we have you booked for the next 3 more episodes from the same line of immigration lawyers. The next topic that we'll be addressing is how can we make more money practicing immigration as a profession, and so
Also, in that session, I'd also like to talk about what areas of practice they should, start with, and how they need to slowly grow in immigration law. And even if you're a seasoned practitioner, how you can grow and become a federal lawyer. So it's going to be a different level to talk about. And I think that's going to be kind of something that I want lawyers to benefit. I prefer talking a lot about complicated issues, but I want to make sure that, we take it in steps so everyone benefits from these sessions. And thank you to each one of you on this. And if you like the show, you're a lawyer, just press your likes on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and everywhere. Write some awesome comments for the team. And I'm sure this is a one of a kind show you all might have witnessed. And I'll make sure that I'll take all your questions also. This is also going to benefit you very much. So for example, you're sitting in your office, you're stuck with this one question right now, and you don't know how to handle it. I'll make sure that I answer that question for you too. So I'll learn from you, you learn from me, and we're going to say, wow, we got the answer for it. That's how law should work. We are all friends in the profession. We need to make it, we need to be united, because united we stand, divided we fall. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all the attendees for your precious time. You can check up the recording for the session. In case if you want to note down some points on all our social media channels, you can also leave some wonderful comments and leave some likes for us to be inspired more. And so
You
going back,
deserve more likes than I do for sure in your company, because I'm used to speaking a lot over the years. But I think I'll definitely give you my like for sure if you want.
that counts, sir. Every like counts, sir. Yours especially.
Right. Thank you so much. And well, just one thing before I leave, nothing in the seminar constitutes legal advice. The advice given in the seminar was general in nature and does not apply to any particular facts or circumstances. And I'll be back next week. And this show next week will be good for new lawyers and lawyers who are kind of practicing immigration for some time, and seasoned lawyers who would love to interact with me and make sure that we take immigration to the next level. And in future, we're going to talk about immigration reform, or how we all can work together by contacting our local representatives and making sure that how we can use social media to change the world of immigration. Thank you.
Thank you. So guys, going back to the court website multiple times a day for updates on your ongoing cases. So you can just add your cases to your workspace and let My Legal Software automate the entire process for you. So this event was sponsored by My Legal Software, which is an advanced legal case management software that is created by the lawyers for the lawyers. So if you are looking for the best tool to grow and manage your legal practice, then do
I would say
sign.
among the best tools to grow. It's among the best tools to grow.
Yeah. Also, guys, don't forget that if you sign up in the next 7 days, you will get two benefits. First one is that you will be earning the $100 credit towards your first payment cycle, and second one is that you will be getting 3 hours in total and 1 hour distributed for the first 3 months. Free legal mentorship from our attorney panel, including Mr. Gehi.
Oh, so you already put me in with. Come on, you're already putting me in that trouble spot.
No, sir. This we are like kind of giving people an added bonus of coming on board with My Legal Software.
And of course, I'd be happy to be mentoring and helping lawyers to grow the practices. And if they work with you, I'm always there to help you. A friend indeed is a friend indeed.
See, that's the great thing about you. You're so humble and so kind. So thank you so much, guys. Go and please, go and sign up for My Legal Software, and we'll see you in the next session. We'll update you over the emails on when is the next session going to be and what we are going to address in the same. So we're going to see you there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.